added to it. In this case, we're going to make an example of taking your morning urine to make your own homeopathic, which works probably the easiest. You can take sweat, tears, blood, almost anything comes out of a human leaves a frequency. We would start out in the morning and gather just a few drops. So we'll pretend that we've done. If I was to put water in every single one of these, can we visualize that? It's just a little bit of water in every one. Doesn't matter how much, depends on how much you got. So then I would take and find some morning urine. Like here, I'll just throw it in. I hate to waste my good well water, you can tell. Here again, it's not how much, it's just what you have available. And I purposely chose different jars so you don't make it complicated. I think by now you'll get the idea, so I'll do it, go up to 750. All right. Let's pretend that you got something you can't figure out. Like maybe you got vaccinated by the military and you have no way to neutralize it, or you have to take a vaccination to be a missionary, and you don't want to wreck your body in your future. You want the compromise to be you get the vaccine so you could go to the mission field, right? So the next morning, you take your morning urine and you put some drops in there. And you pertuss it 100 times. If it's 99, doesn't matter. If it's 110, doesn't matter. Just the idea is to have some idea of what makes this work. Then you take a few drops out of the first bottle. And if you were to check in a lab, already you'd find no urine, but the signature is still there. So we tap it to number 2 100 times. Put a few drops in number 3. Tap number 3 100 times. Put a few drops in number 4. Save number 3. Pertuss it, we'll pretend it's water. Pertuss it 100 times. Do the same thing, take a few drops out. Put them in number 5. It already has water in it, pertuss it 100 times. Take a few drops out into 6. Pertuss it 100 times. Now it changes. On number 6, we put it in number 7. We pertuss it 100 times. Come back, after we hit 100 times, come back and take number 3 and put them together. You pour it into your dropper bottle. Take the drops on the top or on the tongue, doesn't matter. Okay, so if I can 1, 2, 3 save, 4, 5, 6 save, 7, and then mix them together and put drops on the tongue. This is so effective, you don't have to know what is wrong with the person. The body knows how to heal itself. But what I just showed you cost me nothing except some empty jars and some water. And I have to locate somebody some more urine. Now, my urine won't work for you, or vice versa. My signal is different. And after you've taken it for 1 day, already your signal on yourself is different. So if you can find the time to take your morning urine again the next morning, that'd be the perfect thing to do. Let me give you an example of how effective this is. A 6-year-old girl had an oozing, weeping sore on the side of her face, and her parents were spending all they could with dermatologists, and nobody's helping, and now she's 8 years old. The neighbor kids were no longer allowed to play with her because it might be contagious. When they put her on a dermal screening computer, it came up as bee venom, and they asked the parents if she'd been stung. They said, yeah, back when she was 6 years old, she got a bee's nest. So she had a severe allergic reaction to bees. So they made a homeopathic remedy of bee venom as if it was hundreds and thousands of bee stings at once. By doing that, we took that bee sting from maybe just a few bees and made the frequency all the way up as if it was hundreds of thousands of bees. But bee venom is acidic, it's acid. But there's nothing acid about this, just the frequency of the signal of a lot of bee stings. And her body went to work and cleaned up the bee venom. They said to my friend that before she left the office that day, it had quit oozing. And 2 weeks later, they checked back and it had completely healed up. They could have done it for free. They spent thousands of dollars with no help. If you got any questions on that, make sure you write them down. I was at an auction sale in a little town in North Dakota, and they talked about the guy died of cancer or whatever, and I heard him talking about, and his dad had died of cancer. So of course it was hereditary, right? So I paid attention. Sure enough, I found the hereditary connection. It wasn't this particular one, but it was like it. Here's what was hereditary in the family. Called a recipe box. The same diet had gone on for generations. And where we live, they do a lot of this. It's called meat and potatoes. I'm so powerful, I'm so great, I'm meat and potatoes, man. Yeah. The potatoes get digested in about 3 hours. And the meat, if it's pork, it's 72 hours. If it's red meat, it's 36 hours. Poultry, 19. 72 on red meat, 36 on, I'm sorry, 72 on pork, 36 on red meat, 19 on poultry, 6 on fish, bread 4, vegetables 3, meat and potatoes. So if you had meat and potatoes and it was pork, those potatoes sat around in the system for almost 68 hours longer than it takes 3 days, well 72 hours to do the pork, and 72 hours to do the pork, trying to do the math, and I do the 3 hours and the potatoes are ready to come out. How long does it have to stay in there and get rancid? I can find who's a red meat eater or a pork eater really easy by going to the bathroom and see if there's candles in there. Go to a truck stop sometime. You'll find out there's pork and meat, heavy meat eaters. It smells so bad you can hardly want to buy some air tanks to take in there.
And if you juice it's 15 minutes.
Vegetables, yeah.
Juice them.
And the digestion,
4 hours.
and digestion did not have to get involved. So if you're in harm's way, you better spend your energy healing instead of digesting. That's why
That's why juicing is so important.
Yeah, well, the cleanse we have is a simple way to do it because it's
Still not feeding the body,
oh, it does a good job. It does
not feeding the carrots, the apple, or until the cows go.
Yeah. And I won't disagree with you, but there's a place where sometimes people don't even have the access to or the energy to chase down and even run a juicer. Unless you want to do it for them.
3.5 minutes to wash it. My wife used to say it took so long, 3.5 minutes. Takes longer to wash the food than it does the juice.
Yeah. And you give the pulp to the horses? Anyway, the excuse of saying it's hereditary, that's why I have disease, disaster, or whatever. Yeah, it's right, you got the same recipe box, you do things the same way. Okay. I'm gonna switch horses for a little bit. I'll tell you the history on this little device. And if there were no more available, I don't believe anybody would dare to give up the one they got. This causes the Krebs cycle to be stimulated, plus minus. It's a spinning magnetic ball. And this was invented because of a guy named Maurice. Maurice had a stroke in Texas. Now, I met Maurice years before he had the stroke. And I found out about him after he had the stroke and talked to him later. And in between, a friend had got to him with a mag boy. And I think it's up here. Yes. Most people that hang out with me, I just tell them about the spinner, but I tell them the history on it. Maurice used to work for Ronald Reagan when he was president of the United States. You know, Ronald and some of his cohorts had done some things that were a little bit illegal. Not unusual for a president, right? And Maurice sort of tried to blow the whistle on it. And he was harassed and hassled. And the day that I met Maurice, he had just had his office sweep debugged. And they found a planted device, recording device. And the guy that did the sweeping said to Maurice, said, "Who are you? The government don't spend this kind of money on just average Joe." And Maurice says, "Let me have that." It was $2,000 for a little bitty bug, just like a little propel pin. He took it out on the sidewalk and smashed with a hammer. Well, later Maurice had a stroke. Laid 3 days in a Texas warehouse before somebody found him. He's totally paralyzed, dehydrated, and in severe pain. He told my friend who did this, spun this by his head. In the first spinning, already pain started in his feet. So from then on, he kept going until he got Maurice back to all capacity, except he speaks a little slower than he used to. But his hands got raw. So we got busy, and we took the ball out. Put a shank in it, and put it on a little motor that was plugged into a little, we had a little electric motor on it, which is fine, but very cumbersome. I had a horse about that time, back in Minnesota, that got his eyeball ripped and went completely white. Couldn't see anything. It was a mixed blessing and curse, because Candy had a bad habit. If she saw you coming, she'd walk the same speed, she'd run the same speed as you, trying to catch your halter. And so you'd always trick her by grading her to grab her if you wanted to ride her. Well, I noticed when she was blind, I could sneak right up behind her on that side and grab the halter. If you've had horses, you understand, a white eyeball is a blind eyeball. So I took, to plug it in, we had to take the horse out into the lawn by the well house. And the grass was so well munched, it was like smooth. Anyway, I put that down by her head, and she quit eating the grass. I brought it up and timed it. 5 minutes, she forgot about the spinner and went back to the grass. So I did it one more time before I went to do seminars. I told my kids to take care of it. Well, they took care of it 2 times, they said. And when I came home, I couldn't catch Candy anymore. Her eye was completely healed. So we've used this many times for cataracts and misplaced it. Oh. We've used it for cataracts, glaucoma, all of the eye issues. Profound for broken bones to heal a short period of time. Injuries. Had 2 people back to back who were within 2 weeks that had not spoken for 2 years with dementia. They started talking again. It has its own charger, you plug it in, redo it. So make sure you don't blow the fast speed wastes electricity. That's all you need. Oh, you got to do something else. Did Mike got, is Logan here? The little, oh, will you go to the microscope room and get the spinner thing that turns red when somebody over there making noise? It's white with a red top on it. Right by the microscope. Okay. We've had sports injuries where there's going to be out for the season and they're back for the next game. We have a neighbor who got his knee crushed so bad that they're going to replace his knee. And in the year while his body was healing, he kept his knee with the pins in it. It was crushed, pulverized, and now today he drives a truck with his left. Double clutching. Drives center with the original knee. And he was scheduled to lose that. Anybody here have a spinner that you can tell us what they use it for? If you got a pet with arthritis, turn back some puppy years. Headaches, yep. I'm going to show you how close you have to be. Thank you. What do you think for us you came along? I'll have to go over some of the sun's. We really like this place. The sun is so gorgeous to work with. Now, it doesn't have to touch you. I'll go over to that. It goes all the way through you, even bald head. So we've had farmers come over, couldn't afford it at the time. They put it between their knees. One of them, he didn't have to, he was scheduled for double knee replacement, he kept one. All this does is increases the blood flow, and the blood cells will have a stronger plus and minus charge because of it. At the clinic, we have a whole beds made with this. They have coils and pulsating magnetics. We sell them for $145, and if for some reason down the road you decide you no longer want it, we buy it back. You don't even have to know why. That's my guarantee. It does what you want, or you get your money back. I had one lady bring it back 2 years later for she needed Christmas money, so I was happy to give it to her. One, her husband didn't give her permission to buy it. She came back. I had another one that was in pieces on it, like they dropped or thrown. I gave him the full money back. That's how sure I am. I win because we just get it out there, you find out how to use it. Where to use it, how long it? I say you put it where it hurts for as long as you needed it. Okay, what am I missing out here? Oh, my herbs. I start out with herbs. I go back to herbs. I always use herbs. See Dave back there, if you want a bunch of small annuals, and you make up a test kit of your own, you can test people on it just by having them touch the annuals. They'll know exactly what to use. There's about 250 herbs here. This is my Chinese herbs, some minerals. This is my American herbs. When someone's really ill, we let them touch the herbs, and the body responds. We put them together in a recipe, and then they take the drops. I've had this by itself. There's serious radiation poisoning in one case. I've had numerous times where this was what tipped the factor in getting someone well from cancer. But I don't use herbs. I don't use herbs except as a short-term, temporary deal. We don't like to see people get to be dependent on just their herbs. back to the lifestyle, live it lifestyle. Get back to organic, get back to natural food checks, so you don't have to go get medicine tests.
Use them as a tool.
This is just a tool, this is not a solution. And it took me because I was trained in herbs by my grandpa and my dad, especially my dad. They use them as tools. And I get out there and run into herbalists, and they think this is the only thing in the world. I said, wait a minute. I got into the weekend in the magnetic company, and the people were dying of cancer and heart disease because they thought their magnets were going to heal them. They're just a tool. They're part of the picture. They are not the total picture. Same thing with homeopathy, especially homeopathy. Homeopathy is not accepted or approved by, what is it? I don't feel like I'm very appreciated by a homeopathic physician because I just taught you how to cut him on business. You wouldn't like me, well, usually some lady. Because they see their trade and their schooling as the only solution. Earlier I mentioned NAET, N-A-E-T. And I watch these people get this great training, they get the degree, and they make great strides on reversing all kinds of allergies. They won't listen to you about anything else because they got all they need. Well, that might serve them, but for a naturopath, which would be like a GP of the medical world, we don't just see somebody need a haircut. We don't need to see somebody just needing a tire change. We have to do all of the above. In other words, cancer to heart disease, infertility to depression. We get these calls and sometimes 2 in the middle of the morning. You know when the phone rings in the middle of the night, it's not Ed McMantle, Publishers Clearinghouse with millions for you. You pick it up and it's usually trouble on the other end of the line. And when it comes to suicide, you have to know how to help them right away. Now, one thing, speaking of depression, anxiety, things like that, we've discovered is that if we get them to cut out the wheat, go gluten-free, usually you help them so they don't need the drugs anymore. Getting them to leave wheat alone is tough because it's cheap food. Almost all of us in this room will be gluten, especially wheat sensitive, but will be gluten sensitive, some will be gluten intolerant, and they can be going years. We had a girl, parents brought this girl to us that she's going to lose her liver. They're going to give her a liver transplant. Turns out all her wrong was she's gluten intolerant. No human being was designed for more than 6% wheat at a time. That's about all you can tolerate without having some kind of reaction. Especially today's wheat. The wheat is so perverted that you probably can't even handle 6%. You do more than that, you're going to have trouble staying awake, your body will have trouble functioning, and the symptoms are just huge. You look at gluten sensitivity on the internet, and you'll be able to pick out how many of these things you recognize with people that eat wheat. I think oatmeal is a little easier to handle than wheat, but when you get a call from somebody, or you know somebody's depressed, anxious, get them to chew the dill pickle seeds, and they can find them, or open the pickle jar, they can pull it out and chew the seeds. Those seeds, for some reason, lower the surface tension of the water in your digestion. One of the things about digestion I did not cover, it's on this chart. The surface tension is real critical for the human to survive. What I mean by that is we need to break down the water from a high bubble, 78 dynes of surface tension. You've heard people say don't drink water as you meal. Well, the reason is because it's changing the pH or the surface tension. The hydrochloric acid has to break down the surface tension to less than 45 dynes to get it into the blood cell. So if it's 78 dynes and you dump that on top of the food you ate, is the wonder that meal doesn't feed you. So if we get the surface tension down to 45 dynes, now lemon juice and lime and lemon juice will do that also. That's why you pour lime and lime, and it helps greatly with drinking water to dig with this, the more I find out, one of the reasons diabetics are always thirsty is their surface tension is always too high, and the cell doesn't get hydrated, even though they'll drink all kinds of water. If you don't get it broke down because of short hydrochloric acid to 45 dynes, they don't get hydrated. The cells just kind of get sticky and they lump together and cause potential for stroke. Now, 78 dyne water would be tap water, what we have in the bottle. 60 dynes is when you boil the water. That's why you can make fake potatoes that aren't lumpy when you boil. But don't try with water before it boils, you get lumps. I do not like fake potatoes. It's skin, as you touch that cow, fake, calling potatoes out of a box. They're not potatoes. Okay. 45 dynes is where we finally feed the cells. And so whatever we can do to assist that, especially hydrochloric acid or lemon and lime juice, here's our big problem. You'll be hard pressed to find hardly any petroleum product, standalone petroleum product, is greater than 25 dynes. You know what that tells me? You've got a gatekeeper here. Nothing until it's 45 dynes or less can get in here. Guess what gets in the cells? All your petroleum products go right in, there's no protection. That's very crucial to understand if you're going to get somebody wrong. You've got to figure out why is the poison going in but not the water. If you get the water to hydrate, eventually with good nutrition like you're talking about, and we can match a few stories on what juicing has done to people that are hurting, especially Hodgkin's lymphoma. Boy, that one, yeah, that one hunts a lot easier. They probably always hunt. In your world, they all hunt easier with juicing. And now, you probably are bumping into people saying, well, why would you get rid of the pulp?
The flag stores the toxins in the pulp. You don't want to eat the pulp.
My question is, how do you slow down that slap that the hypoglycemic index happens from juicing?
I don't know if that's happening or not. Why are we having such 100% results?
Okay.
The next guy will take a Vitamix and chew up everything. I will not recommend anybody coming to my place to do that because I know what works. I could have a chance to try something else on you. Because you're putting a toxin with the other good stuff.
Well, hopefully we got some veggies growing somewhere that aren't toxic.
Well, okay, even if you've got an organic farm right here.
You got
Up to
sprays.
5 miles down there, that spray goes, when you go down the road in a car, if somebody ran over a skunk 4 mile away, you still smell the damn thing, it's coming in your car.
And here's, in light of that, here's another thing that's coming along that's really got us a little bit concerned. What do they put in the chemtrails? It's all, every day they're spraying, except they got off for Easter and Memorial Day. We had 3 days of no spray in South Dakota. That's amazing. That's like a record. I have a list somewhere of all the poison that's in the chemtrails.
But if you feed that body right, your body will fight it off. But with how everybody's eating, that's why everybody's getting affected by things.
Well,
we are malnutrition as a
yes, we're starving. I know that.
big time.
Oh, this doesn't have a list, but I have somewhere the list of the fungus, the heavy metals, the bacteria, and they lace that in with the aluminum that they spray in the skies. And we were looking at the sky the other night here. There wasn't anything God about it. Everything was in rows. When you see it in a row, that's the heart, and it controls the weather. So people are further compromised on their endeavor. But this aluminum is affecting the pH of the soil, so some of these crops are not even going to germinate. Yeah, but Monsanto got it solved. They've got a aluminum compatible seed patent 2009. So I guess there's nothing to worry about, right?
Any more questions?
What do you got? Another question?
Anybody have any questions? Write it down.
Okay, right. already went through a little bit of fun. I got some.
Oh, I'm not gonna be completely okay on that.
Sometimes people send me all kinds of things in the mail, want me to look at it through the microscope. And I got this big, nice box with a Tupperware container in it. I opened it up and it was a lady's stool sample, and I was dig through it to see if there's any worms in it. Because it stunk so bad, I hurried it out to the backwoods and tossed it. And I don't know, I feel sorry for everybody else that was investigating what it was. I didn't have, so then I got this other one. This is a fresh stool sample. You want to?
I'll check it.
Here, put your hand up.
Stuff like that.
Put your hand up. Like that.
Oh, can I just smell it?
No. That's a stool sample. See my little stool sample? This one hasn't hurt nobody. I get the funniest things. Yeah. Homeopathic of your own blood, tremendous idea. Most people like have holes poked in them. It's easier to find your urine. But part of my world is very appreciative because somebody knew how to take my blood and make a homeopathic of it. When I was 12 years old, I got struck with lightning. I was cultivating corn, and that poor tractor, he John Deere didn't know it was dying until we shut it off and restarted it. It took a while to get all that electricity out of the magneto. And I suffered till I was 34 years old. And 2 doctors later, which I trained under both of them, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, took my blood, made it, spun a homeopathic of it, gave me the drops, and it corrected my polarity. Now we go with, instead of $800 and a trip to Tulsa, it takes about 3 minutes to do it on a human and correct the polarity. The reverse polarity is a really serious issue of about 20% of the people, I guess. They'll magnets will irritate them. A severe person with severe reverse polarity would be like what I used to suffer under. I could kill any watch. I don't care if it was a wind up, if it was automatic wind up. We didn't have battery or whatever. But I would actually stop. And then I'd lay on the ledge. 2 days later, it'd take off again. And then somebody else would wear it and have my watch. My grandma was always buying me these real expensive watches, remember the Witten or self-winding. I'd kill that thing real quick. But once I got my polarity corrected, no longer would kill a watch. A lot of times if it's changed, it goes slow on you. But a severe reverse polarity, you can literally kill a wristwatch.
How would you make your blood?
How would I make a homeopathic? On my own blood?
If they wanted to do that.
They put a drop of blood. Oh, okay. How would you make homeopathic of your own blood? You just put a drop in the first number 1. And percuss it. Then you put drops of liquid combination in the next, and the next, and the next. The way I had it done, I paid for $800 to do it. And it worked. The reason I know it might work, I had taken another guy down who had exploratory surgery. They split him wide open, trying to figure out why he's in pain. And he's still suffering when he showed up. We did the same thing with him. He never took the bottle home. I squirted on his tongue one time, cleaned up the pain. He never had it again. In fact, he's had many years without that problem ever coming back. And I believe he had a pericardium, something causing his pericardium sac to be squeezed. To have like muscle gland. Around our clinic, we do the liver gallbladder flush. And this stone came out by surgery, but we have them this big come out. It's like, been a tough year here on the farm, so we didn't buy you any gifts, but here's a necklace I made myself. I didn't have this good thing on the hand. I think that'd be kinda cool, huh? You want a kidney, or you want a gallstone on the necklace? Or how about a kidney stone? This is 1/3 of a kidney stone. Now this together makes it almost a half.
You know, how I get rid of kidney stones?
Yeah, wait, you tell me yours.
Well, a friend called me up, and he says, oh, I'm so much pain from kidney stones. Well, I said, I don't know the recipe exactly. He called Jerry Shepley up. Well, he told him to take 6 cans of classic Coke, half hour before you go to bed. 2 months later, Mark called me up. In fact, I talked to him last night. I said, Mark, you never told me what happened. Oh, I didn't? I said, what happened? He said, he told me to take 6 cans of classic Coke a half hour before I went to bed. He said, if you don't think that's hard, he said, try it. 6 cans in a half hour. Next day, I woke up a different man.
Next time,
Phosphoric acid, it will dissolve.
next time you see Jerry Shepley, ask him who taught him.
Oh, with you, huh?
Oh, he changed the formula.
Well, Mark told me different yesterday, because I'm sure you use some olive oil, you take down some olive oil, and you lay on the left or right side.
That's for gallstones. Kidney
That's for
stones,
gallstones, okay.
kidney stones, you take about 6 to 8 cans of Coke. We just tell them, get a 2-liter bottle. Take about 2/3 of it, sip it over 4 hours. It's tough to go
Oh,
it down.
he told me half hour.
Yeah, so I usually just sip it over 4 hours. And we've had to work on everybody except some that are Coke drinkers, and I have one exception now that's really interested, and I'm hoping to find out more. I talked to this last week. He came with prostate cancer, and I told him, you don't have prostate cancer at all. Because I'm reading the blood. But I told him you should probably pay attention to his, especially his left kidney. My kidneys are fine. On his way driving back to New England States, somewhere in Indiana or Illinois, he's having a kidney stone attack so bad, his wife goes in to the grocery store and finds some lemons. He's rolling around on the lawn, highway patrol, local cop, and ambulance show up to haul him off. He talked his way out. I don't know how through the pain he talked his way out of it. And he got back to where he lived, and we were able to give him some stuff. Classic Coke didn't work on him. Now I'm starting to find out more of the picture because he just had ultrasound. Did I even tell you what he said to me? I'll share it with you, but he's, you know, you get this blanket thing to do for everybody, then you get some of these tough ones that you learn on. We're still learning on him. He was not a Coke drinker at all. He was very into health, and the Coke would not clean up his kidney stones. Now what they found is his kidney stones are so embedded. One's embedded in his bladder, one's in the urethra, one's in the kidney, and they're going to go with ultrasound and break it up. But he's gotten over it for almost 2 years out of what we taught him.
But the diet would cause it in the first place.
Yeah, and here's the thing of it. What he has was there before I even got to see him 2 years ago. But the quick fixes have not done anything, and we should switch to a good limit, but he's still, so we're still learning on this tough case. But he's carried on life through the whole thing. They took a trip to Norway and Finland. They've had a beautiful last 2 years. But when he came with prostate cancer, they're in tears almost about his cancer, couldn't find any, did his wife's blood, she's stage 4, but all the attention gone to him. They're so thankful that they stayed away from, well, they didn't go back to the dirt except for a couple of checkups. And it's been kind of fun to hear him talk because when he went back to the oncologist and wanted to give him the chemo for his prostate cancer, which he didn't have, this overeducated, intelligent individual, clear back in New England, knows me very well because he said I'm full of shizzit. And he still got his prostate. So I'm glad I'm full of shizzit. This guy's happy that he's still got his functions.
You asked oncologists, what's the success rate on chemo? 5%. What's the success rate on
ranked up as being valuable, like what you just talked about. I mean, I've got friends that are doing 95%. Success, reversal, not remission. And I talked to a psychologist, says, how can you go to work? Well, that's like attacking somebody. He would bristle up. We do our job. I said, what is your job? We kill cancer 100% of the time. I said, yeah, but the body dies. Yeah, but we did our job.
Why is it that almost all of oncologists would never put their own family through chemo and radiation?
Yeah,
Why
just-
is that?
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Right.
Kind of like, why do 75% of all stockbrokers own no stock? Why is that? Yeah, they see the handwriting on the wall as they rip people off every day. Some of my favorite questions come from oncologists that are trying to save one of their family members from death. And they're pretty serious by that time. They know they either got to find money to go to Germany or Mexico. Might get lucky talking to one of us. Yeah, they're not gonna do. If everything you touch dies and withers, health department got a hold of me. And I'm chatting with him. And I finally got tired of this guy calling me. And he's trying to accuse me of practicing medicine without a license. I've never, ever practiced medicine without a license.
Yes, you are, you're talking to us. The way I can just talk to what I'm saying is,
Yeah, but
I've been arrested for it already.
I'm not practicing medicine. Medicine
You
means
just tell us you're practicing. I'm practicing too, what I'm doing right now.
we're supposed to know what we're doing. We don't get to practice.
I just keep on, I won't shut up.
Yeah. Practicing medicine means to drug. I never drug. I don't use drugs. So he tried to accuse me of, well, you told this girl to get off the drug. I said, I told her to quit taking alcohol with the drugs because it's causing a serious reaction. I said, if that's practicing medicine on a license, I'm guilty. But you go bother everybody else that tells her about something they care about to get off alcohol.
They don't look at it that way.
I know, but you know, I
They took my pickup with 55-gallon drum of apple cider vinegar, and my wife's gonna drive it. We gotta keep them off of the vinegar. Why you mean I can't, well, how come I can tell someone to take aspirin, if you can't tell them to take apple cider vinegar? Well, that's different.
Yeah, one heals, one
Figure
seals.
that out.
Speaking of aspirin, take that into macular degeneration. Big word, degeneration. Anyway, here's what I told the guy. I asked the guy a question. I said, what if your job Monday was to go find the doctors that don't get people well and sue them, or fine them, or threaten them? What do you mean? Like in China, if they don't get them well, they at least don't get paid, they might get imprisoned. I said, it's kind of like transmission repairman. If every transmission fails after they fix it and you get 4,000 miles down the road and it quits, would you pay that transmission man or would you take him to court? I don't know if that made a difference, but he did leave me alone after that. So you have credibility, you've been arrested.
Oh, yeah, small with Jerry Shoveler.
Oh, that's years ago. Was that a John Deere dealership?
1991.
I really like Jerry.
You betcha.
He's one of those. We have a book up here. We don't know who wrote it. The name is on it, but nobody seems to know the author. Messages from the Body. I summed up my career in these 4 phrases. And the more I still stay at this, the more I realize this fits for me anyway. Who are we? We're a spirit being in a trace mineral body, spirit being, trace mineral body, electrically stimulated, but we're emotionally controlled. That's the part that seems to be the seed of every dis-ease. Something about your way of being, way of thinking, the way you're trained, plays a part in not only what disease, the severity of it, and how it will affect in the future. And I like to ignore it because I've got all these herbs, I got these supplements, and I got these devices. But the truth is, you can take two people, similar dis-ease, one will get well on you and one will leave. We've had this recently where we have a guy that's got severe stage 4 cancer. And what's going to save his life, we figure, for the most part, he would have been dead already, except he didn't have insurance. If he'd had insurance, the mayor would have taken him on. They sent him home. They couldn't do anything for him. Well, now that they find out he's got some money coming from the lawsuit, now they want to give him chemo. Go figure. Now it's going to work. I had a guy in Hammond, Indiana. They asked me to bring my microscope, which I almost never do, but I had it with me, so I took it out of the car. He'd been given 1 year to live. He was about 45 years old. His daughter paid the hundreds of bucks to have me come over there. She was very reluctant because I could not find cancer in him anywhere. So my testing was a waste of money. He died exactly a year later. I mean, he died on the anniversary. His anniversary when they said he had a year left is when he died. So she spent money to have an autopsy. She called me. She said, "You were right. Dad had no cancer." Emotionally controlled. So when it comes to trying to work with people, you can put a whole bunch of them and give them the same thing, and you have some that just totally frustrated because it didn't work. You can give them nutrition, it doesn't affect. You can teach them how to change their lifestyle, doesn't affect. And then you find out they've got a bad relationship inside their marriage, or angry at the dad that's already dead, or upset with the mother that's in the nursing home or wherever. And you find out that their bitterness and their emotions control the fact that they cannot get well. Now, I tried to manipulate God into letting me be a preacher one time. And that didn't go over so good. And when I look back at my life, I had to do what he called me to do. And be part of his program, and not part of somebody else's dream or somebody else's wish or somebody else's plan for me. And sometimes these people get sick, and there's a different program going on inside the house, and somebody either is going to collect life insurance, or some, one case I lost a guy after we got him pretty close to healed, not completely because he had chemo, radiation, and surgery, but he was kicked along really good. And in his house, it would have been considered blasphemy to divorce his wife, or vice versa. And I remember sitting at the table with the microscope with him. And his wife is a nurse, registered nurse, about 100 pounds overweight, laying on the couch, could hardly get off the couch. I don't know why my husband can't have sugar. I eat all the sugar I want, it doesn't affect me. I thought, really? And I used the restroom, and there was candles and magazines there. You know what that means? When you see magazines in somebody's restroom, somebody got constipation and hemorrhoids. But that's okay for some, I guess. And when I worked with her husband, about a year after we started working with him, I was driving to Minneapolis one day, and I just called him. How you doing, Val? He said, "Doing really good, but I'm tired." I said, "Tired of the fight inside your house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Bill, you're pretty well healed. You're pretty well healed. You're ready to go. I think you should graduate." He did. I teach people, you don't die of something. Get yourself well, then go. grandpa did it, never sick a day in his life. But he went home and he said he's going home, and he went home. Passed away in sleep, not of he ended up going to nursing home. Interesting thing, you know, it's a long 6-hour drive to Minneapolis from your day. I made that trip a number of times for this one guy. I would go see my kids too, you know, because sorry, it wasn't that bad. But what was very frustrating, this nurse threatened to turn me in for treating Bill in their home if I didn't send him the money back that he had wasted. Good thing it wasn't much money, only a couple $100. I sent it back. That's happened. Now, when you work with humans, you can't put any two in the same category, because one will be spiritually well, ready to leave, emotionally challenged because of relationship. Some will be very deficient in nutrition, and they'll jump back and you think you're winning, and then something comes along, a shock to their system, loses. What's really tough on an older person, I'm finding out, is if they lose a child. There's something in our DNA that says we're supposed to go before our kids go. You be careful, you help and you clean and watch over and be friends and just be there for anybody that's lost a child. Because that can scar them so much, the emotional and control part of that. 1 minute of negative thought takes 30 minutes of gut laughter, like that cow. 30 minutes to neutralize the acid from one negative thought. So what if you're angry at your ex-spouse, or upset with somebody leaving, or upset with, you've got to be careful that you get them some happy, funny. When you come to our clinic, we try to encourage you to at least watch a few funny movies that make you laugh. One that we like. I can watch this and over and still laugh. Grumpy Old Man.
It's like a cow.
It's like the cow. Yeah, the laughter of the cow. Whoever comes back, my kind of humor. I like that kind of humor. So, we're really fortunate to have met a guy that's got severe cancer. He's coming to our clinic and checking in, and we're taking his blood. But he's so delightful. And the community is so curious. Because everybody likes him. Have you ever met somebody who has no enemies? We got one. Some of you met him. And he's doing quite well. And he's working every day longer than anybody that's 40 that I know. 7 days a week. And still finding energy to heal his, reverse his cancer. Very cool. But his emotional setting is profound. And if you met him, you got to know that. In fact, he's probably up there right now on our machines. They give him some time off on Sundays and Saturdays, and he sneaks out for a while and gets on the machine. Goes back and takes care of the ranch. But he's a hard worker, and that's keeping him alive. He has a reason. He's got people that expect him to get up, and they validate him for his job. If you have a job nobody appreciates, you probably should switch jobs. Even if you're the maid of the house. Get somebody else to be the maid. Make them appreciate you. Don't you listen.
I'm gonna remember that.
Well, honey, you hung up that thing. If you want maid service, this got this plaque. If you want maid service, precious button. And it's just a piece of something glued on a piece of board. Lots of luck.
It's as if there's no answer to it yourself.
What have I not shared, honey?
Did you finish going through your chapters?
Through the what?
Chapters of the book?
I'm gonna finish up on bricks. I'm gonna give a gift away. It's an antique. It's VHS, but it's unopened. You wish to have VHS potential? Okay, let me tell you what this is. I went and invested in one of those creative moments. I decided to hire a guy to do videotaping, remaking, all kinds of paper flowers out of waste paper, out of napkins, out of tissue paper, trilliums and pussy willows, and especially roses. This one is just dedicated to roses. And if you've got some kids or somebody that's got a little notion to do something in the origami family, who would like a set of tapes? I paid money and I'm not gonna sell them. I did sell one set. That's not a very good investment, is it? So can I put some of my investment in somebody who will actually watch these and use them? And teach how to make roses, flowers, corsages. You did, Dave? Sure. Yeah, because it'll get you in trouble.
I've seen you make them.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about.
I'll share with Gary.
Okay, they've gotten me in a lot of trouble, but I'm married now, so I don't need them anymore.
Pretty sure.
I was making the paper roses, teaching about 6 guys on an airplane one time. And it was, you're bored on the airplane anyway, most people. And the stewardess coach, she said, "Are you a cult or something?" I was making Rose come back to Costa Rica for some stewardess. This guy comes tapping me on the shoulder and says, "Can I have one of those roses?" I said, "No, I do not give roses to men." No, you don't understand. It's for my wife. Yeah. Well, I've been gone for a week and I forgot to get her something and she's waiting at the airport. You might say we're married. I said, "Okay, I'll make you one." So I made a rose. It's the only rose ever sold. He paid me $5 for it. He probably so he could tell he bought it. So we got to the turnstile down there at Minneapolis airport. I saw him get up there and it lit her up. I mean, she was more impressed with that than if he bought her something expensive. So that one tape teaches on roses, the other tape teaches on trilliums and make-believe flowers and pussy willows. Now, anyway, I have one more set to give away. Is anybody else interested? Or is it? I think it. Okay. Now this is back when I was chubby, so I didn't stand up and speak. You'll see that things have changed over the years. I still have no hair. But, okay. On the, what is it, just cover the bricks? The name of our course that we take is called Real Institute Research and Education about Longevity. And if you're not interested in longevity and being healthy while you're here, you're at the wrong setting right now, because that's all we focus on, is how to be healthier, longer, and have a good full life. Years ago, I was traveling, and I was looking over at the crown of England's grain fields after grain field after grain field. Most of England and Scotland and Wales is owned by the crown of England. And so only a few people get to farm on their own, and I saw all these sprayed fields of grain. And I'm thinking, how are we gonna ever clean up America's got trouble, Europe's got trouble. And so I was discussing with some of the people traveling with me, this other doctor with me, we came up with the name Real. Because we need to have something that's beyond organic. A real step. So what we envisioned was, if you have a chiropractor that teaches you nutrition, that would be a real chiropractor, and you could have the real stamp. If you've got a real dentist that does safety removal of amalgams, that'd be a real dentist. And some of you know about the real dentists that we have. But if we could have real farmer stamp, it'd be way beyond organic, because we've discovered that even Walmart knows how to spell the word organic, and the plastic bag is organic plastic. It says organic on the plastic bag. The stuff inside of it is crud, but the bag is organic plastic. They're not lying. It's organic. Nothing about what's on the inside. And who's gonna stop Walmart? Who would ever police a big corporation? Nobody. So if we had a real organization that could, and it would go along real well with the Republic, by the way. You find somebody that has a real passion for the real product that they're producing, so it causes real results instead of lies, falsehoods, and disease. We could just have that to go with it. Well, as I studied more about bricks, this is a way that you separate the real from the unreal. If you give me two tomatoes that look alike, one comes from California, and one's grown on your garden, I know which one is real. But now with a bricks meter, you could educate, or at least hopefully inspire the real to understand why that tomato that you pick off the vine is so sweet you eat it like apple, and the other one, you only tolerate a slice of it if it's put between something that covers up the ugly cardboard taste. Why would you want a lettuce and tomato sandwich if the lettuce is full of hydroponically grown? Fluoride is so much beyond safe levels because it's grown in city water. And lettuce and tomato sandwich. And tomatoes grown who knows where, picked how green. Speaking of picking green, now, honey, I know you don't like what I have to say. In our house, we had to buy two kinds of bananas. Ones that are safe to eat, and one that you have to tolerate the toxic torment that can reverse your polarity. Did you know, if you've traveled to where there's monkeys, and they haven't seen a lot of Chiquita banana commercials, they will eat the banana when it's starting to turn brown. Only educated Americans eat a yellow or green banana. Now, and I'm going to do this just to prove it. We're going to figure out how to get banana juice out of banana pulp. And I want to do one of my bananas, which is peeling, turning dark, and one of their green, well, yellow.
They're not.
You have to buy the dumb things green and hope they turn. And then guess who gets to fight over my banana peelings after they turn dark? The horses. They love them. Banana peelings. Even with poison on them, I think there's some spray on them, but they don't go in a compost pile. Okay. I'm going to just read, well, here. Who has a favorite vegetable or fruit? Just name one. Onions. Okay. The poor bricks on an onion would be 4. Average would be 6. Good would be 8. And a really healthy organic would be about 10. Jerry was selling bricks meters at the thing. So if you should get a brick meter. Does Jerry still have those?
I don't know, I don't know.
You can buy these off the internet for about $129. So that you can take, I could see, it would be fun to go to the grocery store with the testing thing and take a little juice out of this and just see how long until the manager showed up. Yeah, I'll buy the ones that have good bricks. If they don't have good bricks, you can throw it away. Who's got another favorite vegetable or
Apples.
apple? That's the first one on the list. And don't tell me they're all the same. There's a few different apples. Poor would be 6 bricks. Excellent would be 18. In between would be the average to good. I'm going to tell you about a guy who came to one of them similar right here. He sat right where you guys are sat. He found a place where they had these irrigators going to the field, and the whole corner was just weeds, where the irrigator missed. And he got permission to grow crops in that corner. And they said, of course, you have that land for free because it's just going to be weeds anyway, right? So he planted squash. I'm sure there's some residual poison in there. But his bricks on his squash was in the 16 to 18. Now some squash is so sweet it's almost like it's already got sugar in it. But when somebody found out about it, the diabetics they bought up every squash they could get. And they asked if they could have dibs next year. Because if you have a high bricks on your vegetables, it helps the diabetics so they don't need so much insulin. And here's what he made on that little corner. He said he averaged $10,000 in Now, what if you had organic, and what if you had 10 acres? You realize 10 acres, a small tractor, no sprayers, maybe even a cultivator. You could $10,000 an acre if you have the market ready. How many acres do you need? And what are we doing? Maybe it isn't like you're here, but where we're at, they don't even talk. A farmer puts his head down if he's only farming 1,000 acres. He's not even considered a farmer. Now when you get up to 5,000 to 10,000 acres, now you're somebody because you're farming the government besides getting your subsidies to make sure your business with all your sprays next year. What if somebody got smart enough to do the organics on small acreage? I've already been told by people like Jerry. You know what Jerry gets from crops. And you know how many acres he gets bushels that you only wish you could get even with the spray. And the spraying people, the bushels are going down, the protein's dropping, the stalk ability is tipping over. I don't know what they call that, lodging. They lodge. He's getting more than twice per bushel, and he's getting almost identical bushel per acre as the guys are puking up their future and wrecking their soil. Just learn something. If you talk to Jerry, Robin, you need to know this too. This makes so much sense. From somebody that told me they tried it because somebody challenged them. Did you know which direction does the root of a tree grow? The biggest north. The biggest taproot grows north. I think that's north. It feels like it. Okay, now look at this. They plant the seeds so close together these days to get more bushels. So they challenge this guy, see what happens to your yields and your lodging where the wind blows it over. You plant part of your field east and west and part of it north and south and see which comes out better. And I can tell you which is going to be, you tell me after it happens. You're going to happen. When they're in a row north and south, those taproots are all competing for space. But east and west, the taproot grows on its own out into the row between there and the next, and now doesn't tip over. And not only did he have a better yield, his protein numbers was higher, and he didn't have the lodging where he went east and west. I told this to one of the big farmers out there. He just laughed at me. You know who they are. His neighbor works for him. It's like, if you don't have enough common sense to figure out that if they got more room for taproot, they're going to grab more moisture, and they're going to be stronger stock, and they won't tip over. If that didn't tell you that, you can't fix stupid. But he's got the government, he's farming the government, and he'll be in business. Spraying up, wrecking the whole system.
His tractors are too big.
What's that?
His tractors are too big. He can't go north and south. I mean, he can't go east and west. He has to go north and south because his tractor's too big.
Yeah, GPS. No, he didn't tell me that. How'd you learn that?
I don't know, I'm blonde.
No, he said you couldn't see whether that make any difference. So then now he's got the excuse that GPS won't go east and west. Is that right?
No. His fields are long and skinny.
North and south.
His tractors are too big. He can't turn them around.
I don't quite feel sorry for him. Oh, I missed chapter 15. Sorry, guys. Synthetic steel, organic steel. So I'm going to do a test. Give me a break, right? Okay. You guys will stay awake for this. I hope. In our town, it's so small. Rush hour traffic is if you ever have to stop for a stop sign. So I was told that I just moved there, and I have to go back to Minnesota and get some more furniture. And these two old gals in their 80s said, you can't leave. So what do you mean I can't leave? Oh, you got to stay here for the testicle festival. I said, the what? The testicle festival. And then I thought to myself, I hope she's not the judge. And I said, what is that? She said, well, the veterinarians say the bulls testicles, they slice them and deep fry them, and I said, well, yeah, so why do I have to be here at the testicle festival? She said, well, they put lead in your pencil. And I said, but what if I have nobody to write to? He said, little Ella, 83 years old, make that call. So I stuck around just to see what this was all about. I went to the testicle festival. It gets boring after a while because nobody pick a fight with or whatever. So people start arm wrestling. And there's a guy built like Tim, Charlie Hoffman, and nobody could beat him. He good health, he's a farmer, great black Angus, he's just a cool guy. And I sure couldn't beat him. So I had my son John at the time go home and get this exact scarf. I just found this scarf. I've been bugging my family, where's that black scarf? Well, here it is. I said, John, when I challenged Charlie, you put this over his liver. And we did. So it goes like this. If I was Charlie, here's how it would go. I would beat him. Take it away, he'd beat me. Put it back in, I'd beat him. So let's try it. I'm not gonna arm wrestle you. Probably don't have a chance. So we're gonna do the deltoid press. You right-handed? Shoulders good? Okay. Just turn side. Okay, resist me. Okay, you feel that? Okay. Resist me. Resist me. Bring me a start pretty soon. Resist me. Is this polyester? Did I just have your t-shirt on? You don't mind.
You just wait, try something else. Do it again, just wait.
You're gonna change the shocker.
Right, I'll do it. Or
Yeah,
try
so
it again.
let me show you what I'm trying to put. Polyester, he's already been damaged.
No, I can see that, right?
People who stand all day in polyester clothes,
I shouldn't.
correct, sorry, so I can't say this. See the difference, feel the difference, like OPC 3, I know about OPC. Resist. Resist. Now we can compare. In fact, you feel weird. You pay to get it, like your hair straight back. We should probably harm this.
I'll wait, try it again in just a second.
Okay, you're changing the shocker.
Yeah. Okay, now I'll make him strong.
Yeah, we know about that. No, thank you. Now, what I was,
Never go on a kid's head and go counterclockwise.
you need to wear cotton.
That's old fashioned.
You're not old yet. When you get there, we'll talk about it, okay? Are you been in with the spice mover?
I am.
We have one, I used to hold it. Stubborn German, are you?
I don't know. I'm all very good.
He makes the best mower. Did you quit making those?
I sold out. I got something else with it.
Yeah, we do.
It's not. It's not.
His mowers are like, you could drive them off a tree, they still survive. They are built like German tape.
Not pretty.
They're not pretty, but Jimmy's got mine twice. He gets mad at the electric cost of the guy, so we got one of them, I helped him put a fresh one. Now he goes from hate to love relationship. He hated it more than now I love it. The electric clutch, makes it good out. He flat back into the tree. He took the guard off. Here, well, you're gonna like what I got to share next. We're gonna talk about those years. What you wanna wear? like if you got a job as a greeter at Walmart, they put you in a synthetic uniform, they make you stand on the concrete floor, nasty overhead, stinky fumes from lawn and fertilizer, from potpourri and candles, and the soap detergent aisle, the tennis shoes made in China that just stink, and all of these nasty stinks, all these poisons, and any wonder the thyroid goes to toast. So let's protect your thyroid, get rid of the synthetics. In fact, here's how you can tell. You ladies, when you go to church on Sunday, you have to impress everybody because that's what you do. That's what society says. And you wear a synthetic, beautiful dress. You get home and you can't stand, you just can't get out of it. Sniff your armpits. You find it's torture. Now try wearing cotton all day, and you see your body wasn't working nearly as hard. And then there's this torture thing.
Oh, I got that all right.
Okay, we don't need you.
No,
You make big doors too.
that's why we have a brother. Pay attention.
You let him live.
What?
As ornery as you are, you let your little fellow live.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, can you imagine polyester outfit, polyester, over half of the body, then you wonder, you just can't stand and wait to get out. Now, us men, we can test. Have you ever noticed if you put on cotton socks versus synthetic socks? Rayon, nylon, how your feet get, they get hot, and do they sting? Cotton, different story. So God made versus man made is what I'm trying to teach. When God built it, use it. Man made it, be careful. This isn't gonna work, right?
Yeah. What about the GMO crops?
That's gonna be the step down. It'd be like doing the bricks.
Good.
It's like good, better, poor, excellent, poor on the bricks. Excellent would be, I gotta maybe stand back a little bit, because I got this camera.
Oh,
You're being recorded.
I should probably go sit down.
Unless you'll be on tape for a court exhibit.
Oh, no difference.
Yeah, go ahead and take a seat. I don't need that, just, okay. Now, Sonia, can I ask you to show them how we go purchasing bras?
I think it's funny when you just like,
It's an ordeal when we have to find bras that are healthy or safe, because I don't like bras in the first place, we never should have had them invented. I guess I don't need to hold it up, I'll do that later. You recognize that? You're single then? Maybe I should ask you. Okay, then, you've got to wait for me, go ahead.
When you're looking for a safe bra, because there's times when you just have to have it. Look for all cotton, but make sure that when you read your labels on your brassieres, that it says that the cup is lined with cotton, not just the outside of it. A lot of times they'll do the back or the outside of the bra, and it's lined with polyester. What you want touching your skin is going to be a God-made material, which most of the time you'll find is cotton. When there's a need for an underwire, if that's your preference, take your cart, line up the bras that you find that are cotton, that are labeled cotton, get a magnet from the kitchen section, and as that bra is hanging on the back of the cart, take the magnet and come up close to it. If the bra goes towards the magnet, it means it has a metal underwire. If it, like this, right here. If it does not go towards the magnet, it has a plastic underwire, and that is going to be safer for you.
Plastic safer?
The plastic of the underwire is not an energy collector, and it would be safer.
The metal would be on antenna.
Yes, the metal is an antenna.
So lightning's gonna strike her dead then, but then I'd get insurance, with insurance on lightning star. Could hurt.
Well, what if
It'd
it
be more white.
Can Can you imagine how bad it'd be if she got stuck and didn't go dead? What would she look like? She would shrivel up and burn.
Yeah.
No. I shouldn't say that. I gotta call it. Acupuncture needles is just a fraction of the material, surface area of wire, and you're putting all that right over your key hypothalamus, and even can affect the thyroid. And so, if you've got to wear the torture device, at least get rid of the wires.
There are all cotton sports bras that usually are fairly inexpensive, between $5 and $10. Those are a fairly safe alternative, but there's always that outfit that you need something special for. So make sure that you're looking for the safest options when you're shopping for your bra.
I used to teach on this segment, and these ladies would bring these up. This is one that was left at my podium. And I get all these different shapes and sizes of underwires. One day I was at the clinic and we were teaching it on them to be lymphatically correct. We shouldn't be wearing bras anywhere. And I got that term lymphatically correct from two little sisters that come in, probably in their mid-20s. And they just stood there, polite as could be, and finally was, so can I help you? I said, we just want you to know, doctor, that we're both today lymphatically correct. They walked out, it's so cute. So I call it lymphatically correct. Get rid of your underwires at least, if you can't go braless. We should never have invented the bra, but there's probably some reasons. Because it stops the lymphatic flow of sewage from being pumped to this bony hole here. So what happens is the left breast is almost always the first one to get cancer, about 90% of the case. When I get a right breast one, I know they've had injury or mastitis, but it's because the sewage moves up, back down, these get trapped, collecting sewage. How do you know if your breast is collecting sewage? It hurts when you go braless. And as long if you go braless, you won't hurt. Now, us men don't hurt there because we don't wear a bra. Oh,
It hurts when you go braless, you say?
If the breast is full of lymphatic sewage, toxins, potential for lumps or breast cancer,
It hurts.
yes, it will be very sore. A woman will rarely want to go without a bra. One way to clean that up is to go without a bra and to be around your house, walking up and down the stairs. If you have a little trampoline, using that without a bra on and bouncing, and it will start to clean up that lymphatic sewage and start to clean up the breast, and then you should not have as potential of a problem.
the number one cause for breast cancer we're convinced is the bra. Number two would be the mammogram. I've heard that men have testicular cancer sometimes. We need to find the inventor of the mammogram and say once or twice a year, just for good measure, we need to crush your testicles to make sure that you don't have testicular cancer. And after 2-3 years of crushing his testicle, guess what he would have? Testicle cancer. When they go in and bruise the breast with a mammogram, it's no wonder they get, next year they get to have cancer or worse, not even make it for a year. One case I ran into, in 6 weeks she was dead.
There's two very powerful cleanses for the lymphatic system. One of them is 100 ounces of distilled water, 14 ounces of 10% concentrated lamette-guaiol, and 14 ounces of 35% peroxide, and 2 ounces of Willard's water, which is called catalytic alder water. You spray that on your body after you dry yourself off from a shower. It goes in the lymphatic system. You start clearing your throat, blowing your nose, and you get all kinds of junk out of your lymphatic system. The other cleanse is actually more powerful. It's 7 quarts of 100-degree tap water and 4 pounds or 6 cups of Arm & Hammer baking soda and a cup of squeezed lemon juice. You mix all that together, you put in your cotton socks, your cotton underwear, your cotton t-shirt, your cotton bathrobe, and you soak all that with this. You wrap yourself in a painter's tarp, get under 3 sleeping bags for an hour. And the CO2 from the lemon and baking soda releases the oxygen from your hemoglobin, and your chemical toxins, your heavy metal toxins, and your virus load goes down dramatically. The Rapid City Wellness Clinic out in Hermosa, they cure cancer, diabetes, and heart disease in 3 weeks with that cleanse every day. My brother-in-law had bone cancer, and he did that for 2 weeks, and he got rid of it. It's inexpensive.
What, you gotta buy it on underwear?
And I told a lady 25 years ago about the spray, and she said, well, I did that every day. I stunk so bad, I had to take a shower, I had to take 3 showers a day, and I had diarrhea so bad it burned my leg, but I got rid of my colon cancer. See, aloe is antiviral, antibacterial, antiparasital, and antifungus. And Willard's water is a catalyst that makes everything 60 times more powerful. And of course, peroxide is quite a powerful healing agent in itself.
Extra oxygen, looking for a place to go.
Right?
It's extra oxygen, H2O2.
Yeah,
It's extra oxygen, looking for a place to go.
yep.
That's how it works.
I think that comes from Walter Groves, that cleanse. He was the peroxide man.
Well, put that on paper so I can,
I do have it on paper, I can email it to you.
I appreciate that. Because sometimes we just need to do something a little extra, to speed up the, I had something similar when I was in Mexico.
Yeah.
I went into detox, and, they gave me 3 showers, changed the bedclothes 3 times. I felt so bad I wanted to die. That night, I felt so good, I went dancing. I finally got this girl to ask me if she'd go dance with me. Halfway around the thing, she said, I love to dance, but you smell so bad. I can't finish it. She walked out. Let me stand. But I got over cancer. That was 1990. Did it work? I hope so. Oh. You tell me. Okay. She's much nicer to look at. I'm gonna have to talk.
Whatever.
One thing, she'll tell you about one thing.
If you are not dealing with something that's life-threatening and you need immediate attention for your lymphatics, the Chi machine is a gentle way to, on a daily basis, be cleaning up your lymphatics and stay ahead of the game so you don't have to do what he was just saying.
We have them back there, in case you couldn't go look at it like that. One of the hormone interrupters and thyroid destroyers is scented candles, scented plug-ins, scented Christmas trees hanging off your days. And these are all in almost every department store. So I've often paid attention. You've got these people that get their first job, teenage girl, average body, whatever. In just a couple of years of working at a place like we call it a stuff mart, like a Walmart, Kmart, Target, especially the Walmarts. They get huge. And they can't lose weight even if they eat right and go on, or eat little and go on a diet. Another real nasty thing, I've been bold enough a few times. When you've got these acupuncture needles all the way up your ears called studs or earrings, they're huge antenna collectors right on these critical organs, these meridian spots for organs, and it just torques the whole body. So I tell them get rid of their earrings if they don't want to be fat. Fat goes over really good. But I practice till I find something that's ready to listen. Yeah. When you're sitting on these chairs, you men with prostates, which most of you. It's not, we're not doing you any good. When you travel, try to sit on something God made, not man made, like leather, chair, cushions, bamboo, I love my bamboo, seat cushion, tin or wood. This room has nothing healthy in it. I don't see a single tin or wood or leather or bamboo. Makes a huge energy loss if you're sitting on, especially the synthetics back there, the man-made synthetics. Plastic won't steal quite as much as synthetics. Just a little